That guy's DJing for Vincent D'Onofrio from Men in Black.
Jesus Christ.
Cool.
Let's start the show. All right. Hey, this is the first episode, season 2 of the Dad Voice podcast. That's what you're watching. Good morning.
We were renewed by ourselves.
We renewed us. And we got 2 executive producers to get us this fancy treehouse studio that we're in.
Yep, I've only felt it shake once.
That's right.
So far.
So if you notice the sway, there's no one behind the camera. That's actually the whole treehouse moving back and forth.
No, swaying.
It's fun.
Literally.
It's cool though. I like the spot. It's really nice.
Isn't it nice, like the sun rising too?
Yeah. It's a really pretty spot.
We're such hard workers in the way that we have our work-life balance.
That's right. Oh,
and managing
I see what you did.
If we can make it happen, fucking anybody can.
That is the God's honest truth. So today we have Dad Vice from Cheyenne.
A real person.
Yeah, a real person. Cheyenne asks, what are your best navigation tools to keep focused on monotonous tasks, and how do you find work-life balance? The answer is simple, and this is going to be a very short episode. You don't. That's it.
All right.
All right. No.
It is... It's a fluid situation.
It is. And
constantly.
I thought this one was a good one to make a full episode on and make it our first episode because we got some dad vices. We have another one that's a little heavier from an anonymous, so we'll do that one next episode. But I didn't want to start the season super heavy, so we're going to start with this one because it's a fun one.
This almost feels like one of those interviews you have in your head where you're successful in the future. Because we're like, wow, how'd we do it? Work-life balance. We made it to season 2.
Yeah.
We just made up the fact that we're entering season 2.
Yeah, that's it, really. You just kind of... Well, and that's, to be honest, that's a valid point to consider is, like, you kind of just make this shit up as you go along.
You really do.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, no different, but since we said we were doing season 2, for some reason, it felt... like it made sense and it was a lot less stressful.
It did, and it like gives us time to revamp our ideas. It gives us a downtime and stuff like that. So like we made that up as a tool to help us not get trapped in because like I think our last episode
just an extremely repetitive cycle.
We were both tired. We were like worn out, and, but we had this new thing coming, a new space to record. So we both kind of were like, all right. It was your idea, like, let this be the end of season 1. And so we did, and now we're on season 2. And the season of the treehouse, cool stuff. But, like, I think that is a very good point to take into account that sometimes it's less about finding that specific cadence or rhythm and more about being able to convince yourself of making a little change or a minor adjustment or something that is generally inconsequential but will actually help you get there.
That is an important thing. You bite off bit by bit.
Like my job, if you break it down to what it is at a base level, it's pretty monotonous. It's me looking at the same alerts over and over again, me looking into phishing emails that I know. Like it's the same process every single day, every week. And then every once in a while, something big happens. We get, an attack or something happens where I'm really
sucks
needing
you
to,
out of the monotony.
Right, and it pulls you out. But for the most part, it's a corporate hamster wheel. Just rolling and rolling and rolling.
I have that weird type of ADHD where I actually enjoy monotonous tasks too. I don't know if it's because once your muscle memory gets good enough with something, you're able to just let your mind wander and still be able to do something productive.
That's the point I was ultimately going to get to.
And the thing that sucks is those aren't the type of jobs that typically pay a ton, like assembly and stuff like that. But that's what I would like to do, is just something repetitive all day. I'm not going to work to fulfill myself.
Well, and like that's why I think I thrive on because I do most of the editing and the clipping for the bigger episodes, and you handle the social media posts and everything like that for us. So I get the monotonous day-to-day video editing. I'm pretty much doing the same tricks every episode. Every once in a while I'll throw in a little zhuzh or a little pizzazz, but for the most part, I think more of our listeners and our or viewers end up just listening on audio. It seems like that's where the numbers are.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing with the video editing,
The silent generation. We definitely slept on the fact that people probably listen more.
yeah, and I do that all the time because I feel like I get so trapped in my part, which is the video editing and the YouTube stuff and making thumbnails and algorithm-friendly titles and loading our description up and everything. And, you know, we had our friend come in as a social media advisor, we'll call her, because, you know, she came in for a couple weeks and helped us kind of tighten up some screws and stuff like that. But, like...
Boy, we had a lot to tighten up.
Oh, yeah, we did. And she did it in a couple weeks. It was great. And really gave us some materials, I think, that have pushed us further along. So that was really cool. But I can't always just, like, I have to break this down over the process of a week. Like, sometimes I'll text you on Sunday afternoon when our episode releases at 8 o'clock and be like, hey, it might be 8:30.
Yeah.
Because, like, I just, if I sit there for too long and just click and click, like, I get overwhelmed and I get anxious. Like, I'm just like, oh, okay, this is too much of the same exact thing.
Man, I had that weird feeling too lately where a monotonous task I was doing was trying to take stickers off for my daughter. And I was halfway through pulling one off and I was so intently focused that I felt like I was going to have a heart attack. Like, I was just like, I don't know if it's that type of feeling.
It is. No, it is. And it's somehow like just, I don't know. It's like
you're like
a closing
like into it.
Yeah, the walls are like closing in on you though, kind of thing. Like you're like into it, and then you're like, and then as soon as you pull yourself out of the rhythm, you're like, okay, all right, back down to earth. And you might be irritable for a few minutes, but like I have to do that at home a lot because the kids will be like
dude, being like an ADHD dad is just you sitting at the computer doing something monotonous that you feel like is going to give you a heart attack, and you're just sweating and shaking and. They're like, what's Dad doing? Is he disarming a bomb? They're like, no, he's just deleting old emails.
Yeah, and it's, that's a perfect example of one. Is like just you going through and you have like a stack of emails.
Why can I only do 50 at a time?
Right, yeah.
I have 51 left.
They need to fix that, by the way. I have 14 in one of my email boxes. I want to use it as like you know, kind of like a burner email for like promotional stuff to just send all that stuff, but like my Gmail notification is like, this account's way too full.
Just go ahead and let me delete everything.
Yeah, just
if I accidentally do, I'll come out of it a better person.
Right.
You're keeping me from growing.
So I've tried to do that. I've tried to go through and click, and I'll get about 400 done, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm losing my mind.
You start to feel that tight feeling in your chest. You're like, the walls are closing in, man.
And so I've found that the thing that stops me from falling into that and work. And I have this benefit is like, I have anybody who's watched a video that I've posted from my desk at home knows I've got 4 monitors. I've got 2 vertical and 2 horizontal stacked on top of each other. The 2 vertical are on the side. And I do that, one, because I have old dad eyes.
There's old dad eyes over there.
Yeah. So I'll have like on my left screen, I'll have my email and my Teams chats going. And then on the right side, I'll have my one monitoring dashboard and then the messages from that dashboard. And then on the top, I'll have my ticket queue. And then on the bottom, I'll have my central focus, whatever that might be at the moment.
You look like the hacker man.
I do look like the hacker man, but I just have...
They're all reflecting in your glasses.
Which have just nothing but a pure reflection of the lenses. You can't even see.
Drinking your Bawls energy drink.
Yeah.
That's the mid-2000s, the last time I watched a Hacker Man movie.
Program. Access main security. Access main program grid.
You didn't say the magic word.
Please! God damn it! Hate this hacker crap!
I watched the most recent War of the Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
Dude. The Ice Cube one.
Dude, it was so bad.
Oh, you did watch it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was so bad. The premise was so cool too.
He broke so many laws before he even had to. All the security and information laws. Like, why is he using his work computer to stalk his daughter?
By the way, none of that is ethical or acceptable. Like that whole like, you can do that on your own private time, and if you're at that level of leadership in the NSA, you should know how to do that shit.
There was aliens desiccating people in the background, and I'm like, this is unbelievable. This is... Some guy would never do this.
And
they only do it to other people's kids, not their own.
And, like, the idea that he can just tap into people's, like, drone cameras, and he just has, like, access to Amazon's, which, by the way, that whole movie was just a big plug for Amazon.
Yeah.
That's all it was. So
then AWS crashed the past couple of weeks.
So. Yeah, and so they were like, remember, it's War of the Worlds, not us. It's
we gotta get Ice Cube in here.
Somebody call Ice Cube quick. Oh, man. But no, the monotony, so I've got my Hackerman stuff, but I use that kind of as a way to just break. So for me, I don't know if it's the same for you, and maybe I should let you talk more, but for me, if I have a direct line of focus and I zero in on that thing, sometimes I just don't pull away from it.
Yeah, you can't get me off the path.
So what I use those extra things for is kind of like a break point, so I can just kind of, okay, here's this and here's that. Now, not everybody does what I do. Not everybody has that same job. But I think that when I was a retail manager, for me, what I would do was I would start on a task and get it rolling. And then if I started to feel that monotony, I would delegate that task down to someone. And say, hey, you take over this. I got another thing on my list. And then I would go through my list. And
you hop on the monotony train. I'm going to go do something mildly interesting.
And every day I would walk into whatever store I was running. I did this pretty much the same way every time I ran a store. You go in, you do your initial check-in stuff, and then I would go and walk around and make a list of to-dos. And I live by lists still to this day.
I don't know why I'm picturing you working at American Eagle, because it's like the opposite of what you wore in high school. But you're like, dude, I gotta go spray the perfume by the door and crank the music up.
It's funny.
I'm tired of folding.
I was a manager at a grocery chain called Lidl. Which, Lidl.
Dude, how many times did people do that?
A lot.
Yeah.
So Lidl's a German grocery chain that's like direct competition with Aldi, but they just came over to the United States.
A sister company.
No, everybody thinks that. So you want to know the true Aldi sister company?
It's because their weird fixation with putting consonants and vowels and weird spots.
And yellow and blue and red. Yeah, that's the same color scheme and everything.
They're like, dude, we're not the colors red and black anymore.
But Trader Joe's is actually Aldi's sister company, believe it or not.
Huh.
So the more you know. But Lidl is direct competition. And their managerial work uniform is a sweater vest over a collared shirt with like black pants and these work.
You probably look like the manager in that season 4 of SpongeBob when the Krusty Krab gets bought by like a corporate chain.
Yeah,
that guy Dave or whatever.
But yeah, I stuck out like a sore thumb because like and all the shirts were short sleeve, so like, but they didn't care about the tattoos. So I had a shirt cuffed up to like mid bicep.
So you look like you're in a Halloween costume.
Right. Yeah, like all the time. And by the way, this was before I hurt my back, so I'm just this guy who.
So you were a foot taller. You were actually 7'7".
Yeah, 7'7", and also like not just a bloated husk of a whale carcass. I was fit because I mean, if you've ever worked at a grocery store, you know, but that's a job where you're running all the time.
I'm picturing that Giga Chad guy with the huge chin and stuff wearing like an Aldi uniform.
I mean,
if we had the budget, we would have him play past you.
Yeah. I'll see what editing I can do. I really don't want to use AI, but if I can edit it myself, I will. Anyways, so that's what I did when I was in retail. Even as like a retail worker, I would go check in with my boss. I think I did a couple sales jobs, which like that's how I moved up. We've talked about it before. I was a store manager at Journeys. You can go to our past episode in season 1 about all the jobs we've had. It's the one with if you're on YouTube, it's the one that's,
I forgot half of them too.
The thumbnails Work Daddy Works.
I've had 4 more new jobs since we released that episode.
Oh, it's all right, darling. I'm a volunteer fireman.
Okay. I am a semi-professional race car driver and
an amateur tattoo artist.
I'm really not getting my ADHD locked down.
Honestly, though, like I'm actually kind of curious. I'm going to hand the talking over to you now because I want to know how you do it in your job, because I find that, although I guess I get it a little bit because you could have to switch up at any given moment, but when you're doing the other stuff, like your actual job, your managerial job, how do you do it? Because I've never had the work from home type of managerial job. Like when I got my work from home jobs, they were IT. I was low man on the totem pole. So I've always had a manager telling me how to do things. I don't know that I would do well in an environment like that. So how do you do it?
I have to build systems and routines for everything. I could have gone to the McDonald's near here, but I still went to the one by my house because I'm obsessed with routine. So I just immediately start building a routine subconsciously. And then after a couple days, I notice what that routine is. But my job is managing logistics contracts for a big company. So I have to go out there when people call out or we're understaffed and deliver myself. And that is my favorite part.
Yeah.
Because I have no cell service. It's a very direct task. It's get the shipments to where they need to go. And it's simple, and I love doing that. But, the managing, when I'm at home, of course, every time an employee calls, my daughter starts acting up and screaming. Yeah. And then, of course, you get the jokes from your employees. They're like, oh, you're at home already, aren't you? I'm like, man, I would trade for your job in a heartbeat if it paid enough. Like, dude, you have no idea how simple your job is. So it's one of those things where you're at home and you're anxious because anything can happen. And it just like with your job, you have the things that are part of your routine, like making sure pickups and deliveries are on the right routes and scanners. But then you have those wild cards like someone crashing a truck or whatever that pop out of nowhere that you constantly think about while you're trying to focus on, what you do day to day.
And see, like, I get the anxiety.
The shit that knocks you off your routine is just, it's infuriating when you maybe have some of the mental things that you and I have. You get infuriated.
Yeah, and
so maybe don't let yourself get lulled too much into routine sometimes, because it's almost like when they wake someone up who's OD'd with Narcan, you instantly go into like this enraged hangover. It's almost like that when I get knocked out of my routine or a train of thought, like this weird rage takes over that's not normally there.
Yeah, see, and I get the same way, but I also get anxiety from working from home because, like, anybody who's worked from home will tell you, you do not work a full 40 hours a week. Like, sometimes.
I struggle with that too. You feel like you're not
doing anything.
Doing your job enough.
And, like, the fact of the matter is, sometimes I won't have any alerts. I won't have any tickets. I've done all my analytics work. I've looked over all my reports. I've done everything. I am strictly there because I am the person who knows how to respond if something happens.
And that's what someone described to me about, like, 40-hour week desk jobs is they're paying you to be there. They're paying you for your expertise when something happens.
Right. And, like,
no one's ever working wall to wall all day.
And at the end of it, like, and I was so worried about it for the longest time, but then, like, the guy who works above me, I always refer to him as my boss, but he's not really my boss, but, like, I have talked to him, and he's like, hey, man, he's like, I brought my laptop into the kitchen, I'm cooking something while we're talking. I'm like, that's fine. Like, I don't.
That makes you feel better. Cause
it does make you feel better.
Okay.
And it's like, I'm allowed to, go cook myself some lunch or something. Like, I'm not confined. But the difference is, and I saw this, my wife worked her customer service job where she was on the phones, and she did not have that luxury. They were, like, locked down. They wouldn't even let her use the bathroom. It was like, and it really created almost like a internal conflict for me, because I was like, why is it so different? And I don't want to get too much into the weeds on that, because God, it would be my luck that this part of the episode gets around to my company, and then all of a sudden I'm looking for a new job. But it was just very different.
We'll make an episode about your job search.
Yeah, well, if I lose my job, you'll know because the videos are going to be coming out a lot more. That being said, like I still do get so anxious when I'm sitting here and I'm like, I have nothing going on. And
you almost wish you were busy or like your wife so you could not have time to feel that weird
dwell
guilt
on it. And it also, like, I feel like I put it in my own head that my wife harbored some sort of resentment towards me for the way things worked for me versus the way they worked for her. And she didn't. And she's openly said, like, no, I don't resent you for that. But, like, for me in my head, I was like, this is, like,
it's wrong.
It's not fair that you go. And, like, now she's back in retail. She left that job because it turns out that working from home in that environment wasn't what she needed. Like, she wanted a work from home job where she could be with her kids. And she wanted to do, like, a data entry job or something. And I was like, use this as a stepping stone and get your foot in the door. And then she realized, like, hey, if I just go find, like, a really cool job that I like in retail, I can do that and still benefit and enjoy what I do and get time with my kids. And so, because what it ended up being for her when she was working from home was she felt so beaten down, so undervalued, and so depleted that it ran over into the way that she reflected outwardly towards the kids.
Yeah, because you already have that negative energy at home with you.
Right, and you can't escape it. Yeah, and that's the problem.
There's my office.
And so, yeah, I just, and I deal with that stuff too. Like, especially when you have a brain like this, like the most minor criticisms, like the guy that I work with directly, sometimes he can give me a response that seems short or like frustrated, and I'm sitting here going like,
you'll ruminate that
and
about
I just
that all day.
Pull up Indeed and LinkedIn and start looking for jobs. Like, oh, this is it. I'm done now. Like,
he's driving to my house right now.
Right.
That's why it was so. That's why the text was short. He's using Siri on his phone, and I hope that didn't just activate it on our phones.
God, that'd be wild. The best advice I have for that part is just kind of give yourself productive side quests is the best way to put it.
Good one.
Yeah, like give yourself things that keep you on task at your job. But like if you work in a retail environment, like if you're a cashier, if that's your job is to be a cashier, when you've got customers in your line, ring them up. If not, go ahead and front the shelves around you. Bring stuff up. Wipe down your counter. Not only does that look good in front of your boss.
Yeah, that's a big side benefit.
Right, that's a huge benefit, but it's keeping you from glazing over and looking like you're just completely out of your mind when a customer walks up, and it stops things from being so like just like that tunnel of despair that you get trapped in, because that stuff is super important for ADHD people and people with autism.
You have to have that sense of fulfillment to feel like you did something.
And it's and this is the only reason, and I know we've talked about, like, I got an official autism diagnosis when I was 27 years old. And I genuinely, like, I look at people with much more severe cases of autism, and it makes me feel like I should go get reevaluated because, like, I don't feel like I have the same struggles they do. But then,
that's not fair.
Yeah, and then like some doctors, but I don't use my autism spectrum disorder to get away with things or get out of things.
Get free stuff.
Right, like I found out when I was 27.
Get free stuff.
I don't think so, but if you do know about that, let me know. I will take the free stuff. However, it's like I even have closer friends that are more quote unquote autistic than I am, and it feels like they almost look at me like, and I don't, this is not from them, this is from my perspective in my head. They look at me as though I'm being performative, but the one thing that I think,
they look at you as like the autistic Giga Chad alpha.
The one thing in my head that I'm just thinking about a guy driving the biggest train.
Your train has like a nut sack on the back.
Truck nuts on my train.
You're like, it still gets on time, exactly where I want it to. Always on schedule. Big ass truck nuts.
Big
on
ass
my
truck
train.
nuts, my train. And it's just like
The autism train stops for nobody except the passengers that it's supposed to, because it's always on time.
that's right. We're on time, punctual, never leave or arrive before we're supposed to.
We need to buy one of those little mini trains from like a kid's park and just bring it here and just repaint it to be the autism train and put kids on it. And just
If
ride 'em around.
we start making
Our own
money,
kids.
if we start making money on this podcast, that's one of the first purchases I make.
The autism theme park, dude, a completely silent train that shows all the scheduled times it'll be at each corner.
Got off topic, but the one subject or the one
See?
point that I will say kind of affirms the diagnosis with me is I have a really hard time reading people. Like, even I think you've probably noticed with you, sometimes I will, like, sometimes it's easy because there's general tells and you can go, okay, this is the way a person reacts when they think something is funny. He laughed, it feels genuine. But then sometimes I can't tell if people are looking at me and I'm in my head, I'm going, I don't know this person, or I barely know this person, but they're angry at me, or something has caused them to be frustrated with me. And so that's where my biggest hangups come from. Like I said, the guy that I work for, he will like come off short to me or something, and to him, he's just conveying a message. But to me, I'm like, I don't know how to.
He's autistic too, and that's how he conveys his message.
He's really
To the
fucking
point.
smart, so I wouldn't be surprised if he is. But like but either way, like, and people say that about me all the time, that my delivery is super blunt and that I am almost jarringly honest sometimes with people. But like at the same time, I only function on a basis that works for me. Like I've said in past episodes, I have no qualms with lying if I feel like it is the right thing to do and it's appropriate to do at the time. It's just the way my brain works, and some people will go, oh, well, that's morally wrong to do. And yeah, it might be, but like for you, my morals don't work that way.
You keeping it 100 on the spectrum.
So that's the lingering evidence that I have that maybe the doctor knows a little bit about what they're talking about. But I also try my best not to use that as a crutch for anything other than maybe explaining weird quirks that I have that might best be explained with, oh, I have an autism diagnosis.
Sometimes you have to explain those things to people to make yourself feel better too.
Yeah.
Because I actually get really, really bad resting bitch face, but it's only because I get deep in thought and I just forget where I am.
Yeah.
And I look like I'm mad or not paying attention, but I'm gone. I'm
Yeah,
somewhere
and-
else.
And that's like a real
But
thing.
it just comes off as
Yeah. My wife, she has RBF sometimes, and it's never like, she's never like looking at anyone like she wants to kill them, but her face is just, when she's relaxed, she just kind of looks.
It's a focused relaxation.
Yeah.
Like your mind is actually being allowed to wander for once. So it's what we do, dude. Maladaptive daydreaming.
And
It feels good. So
yeah,
you
and
just
so
be sitting there like,
I know I do it sometimes, but my wife does it. But like in my brain, I'm like, I've done something wrong, but I don't know what I've done.
yeah.
And so I go to her. I
It
go,
sets off alarm bells.
yeah. I go, what's wrong? And she goes, nothing's wrong. And I go, that's not true.
Are you sure?
Your face. And she goes, nothing is wrong. And then now something is wrong because I've pushed her when nothing was wrong, and
Yeah.
it's a thing. So like being conscious of stuff like that, and also to tie back to the second half of this question, how do you find work-life balance? That's the trickier part for me when it comes to a lot of stuff, because my thing is I'm always on call. So if I get an email in the middle of the night that says, hey, someone's trying to break in, and like that's the only sound notification I have on my phone is my emails, or my Teams chat. And then if I don't immediately get a Teams chat or a text message from the other guy I work with that says, hey, I'm on top of it, because he's a little higher than me, I have to get up, go downstairs, get on my computer and see what's going on. But like, it's, for me, the ability to compartmentalize work incidents, and then that has become a very useful tool, and learning how to do that has really helped me, because like I can get an email or a text. Like I remember before he left the company that I'm with now, the VP of finance, which He's actually the VP, the CFO now of the company that bought my company. Whole story.
Wow. Art of the deal.
Yeah.
Smart man.
When he was still with the company I'm with, that was the purchased company, he called me in the middle of at 9 o'clock at night and was like, hey, I can't get in, having some security issues. I said, all right, I got you. And I got in and did that. And I was in the middle of a movie with my wife, and I was like, hey, pause the movie real quick. I went and handled it.
That hurts, dude. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate having to balance. I'm so sorry this sucks that I'm interrupting this thing, but I don't want to lose my job.
Right. And I feel like it would be different if my job was the income that supported the entire household, but she has to work too. And until I find a source of income, fingers crossed this podcast might break us through it at some point. Until I get to that point, though.
We're getting close with the audio downloads.
Yeah. You guys keep going on the audio, by the way. Season 2, we're going to be more conscious of you guys on the audio levels, which I'm going to finish my thought, and then we're going to cut into that.
Different kinds of work.
Yeah, it is.
You do both work full time. Yours has inconvenient moments that spill over into the family time. It sucks, but at the same time, don't feel guilty because it's just a different kind of work.
Right, and like,
man, we all just doing what we can.
That's really it. Is like, and it sucks to say it like that, but at the same time, we are just doing what we can. Like,
you do what you can until you can do what you want.
Right,
that's my motto.
And
don't neglect doing what you have to.
Economically, like, it's not feasible for a ton of people. Like, it is. So we have a house that we really like in a neighborhood that we really like, and the consequence of us having exactly what we want in that perspective is that we both have to work in order to afford that lifestyle, and we're barely affording it. Like, we don't have a savings account. With my back injury, I wiped it out. Like, that was. Oh,
you had one before?
Man. When I say, a back injury wiped it out, and I still have about $50,000 worth of debt from that. So if that tells you how much I had in savings, not much. It was enough to get into the first couple of sessions of physical therapy, and that was it.
You're like, fuck it, I got what I need, whatever. I'll figure out
the rest. They were like,
I'll just limp through life.
They were like, we can try to re-clear the more sessions of physical therapy with your insurance. I was like, I can't afford it. It's fine. And like, it is what it is.
It's fine. I got YouTube.
Yeah.
I got yoga and shit on there.
Dude, I'm telling you, the sciatic stretches, they do actually work. So it's crazy to say that, by the way. 33 developed countries, and only 32 of them have figured out how to make universal.
We've already spilled it into episode or season 2.
Yeah.
The healthcare thing.
No, yeah, well,
that was like our theme the first 8 episodes or
dude,
so.
Honestly,
people just watch the light slowly die in our eyes, and we stop talking about it as we accept it. We're just like, all right.
It's brand recognition.
There's other things to talk about. Fine, I'll just.
But yeah, to not get too far away from the point I was trying to make, the work-life balance. You just have to find out what works for you. If you have a significant other, number one thing, even if it seems uncomfortable, communication has to happen all the time, consistently. You have to be on top of that, and you have to let them know, hey, I am working all the time. Hey, I'm working late to pay the bills, to support us, to support me, whatever you're doing.
I'm not doing it to get away from you.
Right. It's not like...
Don't worry.
And sometimes it can feel that way because, like, you have concerns. Like, right now, my wife works technically 2 jobs. She loves them both, and I love that for her because she's finally with companies that, 1, she feels seen in, 2, align with her values, and 3, are genuinely enjoyable jobs for her. And I don't want to dox her by telling everyone where she works, because as we move through this podcast, and our numbers have not started dipping, they're continuously going up. So as we move through, I'm going to have to start saying less about like the inner workings of my family, but just like, that's the best way I can put it, is she actually is happy where she's at. She works 2 jobs, but every once in a while she'll bring a schedule home where those 2 jobs weren't able to sync up their schedule correctly. And so now she is working like a full week or 2 weeks with no days off. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, you need to see if you can finesse a shift change or something because you need a full day off. And in her mind, she's like, well, wouldn't it be better if I just worked a couple of short shifts but worked like the whole 2 weeks consistently? And I'm like, no, because
you still have to leave the house.
Yeah, you still have to leave the house. You never feel like you're actually getting away from work. And the kids, like, that's 2 weeks of consistently not seeing the kids. And we have a 3-year-old and an 8-year-old. And for them, that's hard for them to sit there and go, oh, I totally get it. And our 8-year-old is wise beyond his years, and he will tell us all day long, oh, I get it. But then sometimes he will come downstairs to me and he'll be like, hey, I don't want to tell mommy because I don't want to make her sad, but like I really miss her and I don't like that I haven't seen her as much. And you just have to explain to him like, hey, that's what life is. You know?
You're like, son, we're gonna blow your YouTube up so you never have to deal with
Dude,
this.
And honestly, by the way, I run his YouTube channel, so I feel like it's an adequate plug. But if you have kids that are into Fortnite, Roblox, what other games does he play? Oh, Minecraft. Yeah, he's got a YouTube channel. It's called Louverse Gaming.
Save him from the 9-to-5 grind.
That's right. Save him from his dream is to become a YouTuber. So I told him I would support him in any way possible. And I'm going to give myself a shameless plug, and you should plug your personal channel as well. But I just recently started. At the point that this episode comes out, it'll be a few weeks in now. But I recently started my own content stream of, security tips for the average person. Just ways to better lock up your stuff. And I've discovered that Roblox was a hot topic. Yeah. And parents were really invested.
Good way for people to steal data.
Yeah.
Kids.
And kids are an exploitable demographic. So they definitely go for them in more ways than one. And so, follow me. It's Dad Bites. It's Dad Bytes, and I'll put it on the screen. And then I think I need to make it all uniform. So by the time this episode comes out, it probably will be. So for most of my pages, it's Dad_Bites. So you just follow me on all my socials, Dad_Bites. If you want security tips, you plug yours too.
I changed all my handles to @PhilDameron_Comedy, but my title name, whatever, on TikTok is a regular dad. I do surprisingly well over there.
That's a regular dad, because to make it a joke when we first started the podcast, I changed my socials names to irregular dad.
Irregular dad. And then it just sounded like you were shitting all the time.
Yeah. Which I am, so it's technically not a lie.
I am regularly shitting.
Shitting myself to death, bro.
Yeah.
Do you think we hit? Because I don't want to get into that loop I tend to get into.
I can just give one final piece of advice.
Go for it.
When you try to plan your work-life balance, it's not going to look anything like you planned it, but you seem to always get it figured out, even if it's at the last second.
Yeah.
You just do.
Perfect advice. Expect the unexpected. That's the best way to go into that.
It'll work out.
That.
Don't take that as an excuse to not plan, but.
Right. If it doesn't work the way you want it to work, understand that you just need to be flexible enough to pivot a little bit and go, okay, well, this.
And you will, naturally.
Right. Oh, I got to work late, so we have to cancel our dinner tonight, but I do have Saturday off. You get off early, so why don't we go out to eat at your favorite restaurant or something? And it shouldn't always be a game of, oh, I have to make it up to you, because at the same time, you are working to build your life in the way it is. And if you don't have a significant other and you're not answering to someone that you share a life with, and it's just your friends, if your friends don't get that you're trying to do the best thing for you, then maybe reevaluate that friendship, because there is never a point where any of my friends sit there and go, hey, I can't. Like, I blow Phil up all the time. And I'm like, just popping off.
We blow each other up at just different times. Yeah. Because we're both doing our routines at different times, too. Like, I noticed I text you way more when you're in that routine of making dinner for your kids and stuff, because
Yeah.
that's when I get settled.
And you have more structure to your household, so you're like your kid's in bed by 7:30.
You expect
I'm
text from
cooking
me
dinner at
like
7:30.
timely
Yeah.
times.
And I just am throughout the day, because I work from home, I'm blowing you up with like, oh, look at the numbers on this. And I'm like, oh yeah, he can't. And he probably isn't getting these until he gets back to the hub anyways. So just understand that your friends, your actual friends will get it. They'll understand that you have shit going on and you need to...
You got to focus on it.
Yeah, you got
Sorry.
to focus on you. Because at the end of the day, you cannot be available for anyone else. You cannot be the best version of yourself unless you're taking care of you first. And sometimes
it's a lot more enjoyable to hang out with your friends when you know you've done something productive too.
Right.
Like,
And
you're in a much better space.
And that's an important point too, is like understanding that particular point of you could go and burn yourself down and then go hang out with your friends, and then they're just going to sit there and go, man, you've been a real bummer to be around lately. And instead go, hey, I can't make it to every event. Perfect example for me, hardcore metal shows. Like, I still love the genre. I haven't been to shows in forever.
Takes a lot of time.
Well, that's not true. I've been to a couple of bigger shows, but I haven't been to a local show in forever. Not because I've abandoned my local scene, but because I just don't have... I'm going to go... If I go to that and I just show up and I'm not the same energetic person that I was the last time I went to shows and when I was actively going to shows, people are going to go, man, you've changed.
You get the "you've changed" allegations.
Right.
God damn, I hate those.
And it's like,
I'm like,
dude,
I have. You know what? Yeah, I have.
and you
Sorry.
know, the biggest change is I'm fucking tired, man.
Hey,
Like, I'm
I
exhausted.
procreated, dude. I'm
Yeah.
raising another human being. I have changed.
And
I
it's-
stopped saying no, I haven't. I'm just tired. I have fucking changed.
I've had a couple of people come to me that have had a kid since I've had my second one, and they were, part of hardcore or whatever, and they've gone, man, I don't know how you were still playing shows when you had one kid. And I'm like, yeah.
And
it's
y'all
a
still
different
gave
game.
me shit for it.
And guess what? I had a second one, and I just decided to do what was right for my family. Look, it is not my kid, and this is funny, because this will probably be a point I mention next episode as we get into a heavier subject, but our kids didn't ask to be brought into this world. No. So when they get here, it's not like I can put them on the back burner for anything. Yeah. I decided to procreate. We decided that we were going to bring that life into the world. It is our responsibility to put that as our priority. And I'm sorry if that means I don't get to go to hardcore shows as much. I'm sorry if that means I don't get to be everywhere you are all the time, and that makes you feel like I'm not as cool or I'm not as good of a friend. But to that point, are you really being a cool friend if you're sitting here like your life should revolve around what I perceive as the right thing to dedicate your time to?
Dude, I miss when you were just unhappy and had no purpose in life, man. How can we get that back?
Right, like when you were willing to throw it all away to get in a van and drive across the country because you didn't have any prospects here in life. I get that. And that's not shitting on touring bands. There are plenty of bands who do that shit because that is their dream and that is what they're committed to. But like, to be honest, the first time I did that in my life, it was convenient and I needed to get out and go see the world. And then every time after that I did it, it was a different experience. It was awesome. But sometimes I'm just going to put a bow on it and say, you're never going to achieve what you want to achieve if you let other people's standards dictate how you achieve that. And end of sentence. Like, that's it.
Period, Pooh.
Yeah, we have to call it here in a second. So we're going to go down our list of make sure we hit all of our talking points. It looks like we did. So yeah, all right. I will say, like, this whole episode was based on a dad vice. So if you're new to the show, if this is your first time seeing it, a dad vice is just you email us at thedadvoicepod@gmail.com. I'm actually hoping if I can afford to buy our own domain, that email will change soon. But for now, it's thedadvoicepod@gmail.com. And you want to do subject line dadvice. Okay, and so you can ask to, like, next week's, we got a person that we're going to be covering their dadvice, and they asked to remain anonymous. And so that's what we're going to do.
We will honor that.
And we will honor that. So you can be anonymous, or you can just tell us who you are.
After the episode, I will slam my head against the wall multiple times so I forget your name, too.
That's right. We will...
That's cybersecurity, right?
Well, because I work in cybersecurity, I have the neuralizer pen from Men in Black.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll just neuralize this. It'll be great.
Dude, what if I just wake up later and my wallet's gone and all my fucking electronics gone?
I'm like, gotcha, bitch. And you just have this false memory that you gave it all away in a charitable action.
See, the federal agents actually did break in. You made me think that.
But yeah, so if you want Dadvice, email us, thedadvoicepod@gmail.com, subject line Dadvice. It's also on the closing card for our videos. If you have stuck around this long, congratulations, but you obviously like what we're talking about, so give us a like and a subscribe. If you're listening and you've made it this far, follow us on all of the whatever
the hell you use.
Whatever you're using to listen to us. Also, if you like our content, giving us a 5-star rating or whatever you feel is appropriate on those apps is
give it one.
Just give us a rating. Help us, help show people that this might be worth watching. So we do post regular Dad Blasts. If you've been with us for a while, you know that we've actually been doing them in the downtime between Season 1 and Season 2. But Dad Blasts are where we kind of cover current events, or just kind of like our goof-off episodes where sometimes we don't want to talk about the news because if you've seen any of those, they tend to get a little heavy. But we do Dad Blasts every Wednesday. They're 15 to 20 minute shorter form thing that we do. And then, yeah, so if you want to check those out, do that every Wednesday, like I said, and we do put those on audio as well. And then every Sunday we'll do our hour-long regular shows. But I think you want to end it with some dad formations and then go on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Our positive dad formations. Hey, it's the holiday season, and unfortunately with the holiday season comes a bit of that seasonal depression. So our dad formation this week is you're not alone. It's getting darker outside earlier, and we get that, and it can bum you out, but just realize that some of that despair that you're feeling is in your head, and it's not all genuine, although we understand why you might feel negatively about the things that are going on in the world. You have two people right here, and
I have been dealing with that last week and a half too.
Dude, it's rough, and it hits us all. And
it makes me feel bad for making my dad formation just quit being a fucking ding-dong.
Yeah, don't be a ding-dong. Lock in. Achieve your
Stay
goals.
with us. Don't let the seasonal depression get you. Make you more of a ding-dong.
But no, if you're feeling rough, just know that it's a natural thing to feel around this time of year. It gets dark earlier. You're going outside less. It happens. But you know what? Dadvice isn't just for asking questions. You can email us and say, hey, I don't want to be on the episode at all, but I'm struggling. I just needed a dad to talk to tell me that things are going to be okay. And one of us or both of us will talk to you. And you can just message us on our socials that way too. No matter what, as long as we have the capacity to do that, and even if we do blow up at some point, like we always joke and like we honestly want to,
then we will gladly pay someone.
I was gonna say at that point I wouldn't even be.
I would pay someone to do everything else and just do that, so I can feel like I'm doing good for the world.
Either that, or we pay like a genuine therapist or someone who's educated in dealing with things like that to respond to you and to give you a valid answer, not just some intern that we're paying that's hungover and oh fucking your dad didn't love you enough, that's why you feel this way, bye, whatever. So
here's a free mug.
But until those very delusional dreams become reality, I will respond to any message, and if you're feeling rough, if you're taking a hit, we're here. And I might
Feeling rough, I'm feeling raw, I'm in the prime of my life.
That's right, MGM. Man, there was an era where that's all you would listen to. Is just that was like the anthem of the year.
Used to just be wearing tight pants, no shirt, being on psychedelics, listening to them. That was like my 60s.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be a whole other episode to talk about it.
That'd be a fun one.
Appreciate you guys sticking around. If you've watched this far, it really does mean everything. Like, we're here. Season 2, baby.
Yeah, season 2.
We kicked it off. So you guys just, hopefully you'll stick around. Tell your friends about us if you think that they can get anything out of this. But if not, we're glad you're here. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week.
And so far this season, I haven't talked about or mentioned eugenics.